Hello everyone, welcome to chemistry class. Here we are with chapter number 9, carbon. Let us begin this chapter here. Carbon is a very important element and it is present in every living being. It has a number of uses and it is present all around us. The food we eat that has compounds of carbon, the fuels like coal and different hydrocarbons that they contain carbon. Different medicines contain carbon compounds. The clothes we wear, they have carbon compounds. In the diamond, in the gemstone, all of these contain carbon. Even the graphite that is used in the pencil lead, that contains carbon, and the graphite also has various uses in the industries. In the carbon nanotubes, in the field of nanotechnology, again carbon plays a great role. So that is how we can say carbon is a very important metal, and that is what we are going to learn about this particular element in this chapter. Let us come to the occurrence of the carbon, where it is found. Carbon is found in two different manners, in the free state and the second one in the combined state. So it is widely distributed on the earth in the free state where it is present. In the free state, carbon exists in the form of coal, diamond and graphite. Point number one, you'll see coal. Coal is what? It is a decomposition product of the plants buried millions of years ago due to the natural phenomena. When the plants were dead or the trees were dead, they were buried in the soil, and after being buried over a period of millions of years, these remains of the plants only converted into coal. This is happening by the process called as carbonization. The definition we will read: the conversion of a carbon compound into carbon is called carbonization. So this is what has led to the formation of coal. Second point is diamond and graphite. Diamond and graphite are another crystalline forms of the carbon. They are present in the nature and they are the pure forms of the carbon only. Graphite, if you see the quantity wise, then graphite is more abundant, more easily found than diamond. It is found in more quantities. So both the things, diamond, graphite, as well as the coal, all these are the sources of carbon in the free state. Coal is produced by the decomposition of plants. When the plant get buried below the layers of the soil for millions of years, due to the high pressure that is present there, that remains of the plant, that the dead remains of the plants only will convert into coal, and we can use them as a fuel. Let us see the combined state now. In the combined state means carbon is combined with something else and present in the form of a compound. Earlier, carbon was in the form of an element. If you see diamond, it is made up of only carbon. Nothing else will be there. Only one element is there, carbon. But if you say the combined state, then it is a compound. Carbon element will be joined or combined with any other element. Like for example, carbon dioxide. Two elements, carbon, oxygen are there, but carbon is a part of this also. So in the combined manner, air is having carbon in the form of carbon dioxide. 0.03% natural air normally is carbon dioxide only. In the case of polluted air, this percentage can be even more higher. Next is living organisms. In the case of our body, that is plants, animal body, even human bodies also have carbon compounds. So whatever you eat from the plants, vegetables, fruits or anything, all of them contain carbon compounds like carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamin, all of them contain carbon. Next, minerals now. Different minerals like the carbonate minerals like calcium carbonate, CaCO3, limestone, etc. All these are calcium carbonate only. Next is dolomite. It is another compound of the carbon mineral, that is mixture of magnesium carbonate and calcium carbonate. That is called as dolomite. It is a natural mineral. It is in the various parts of the earth crust, it is present there. Next is natural gas and petroleum. So they are also containing mainly hydrocarbons. That means carbon and hydrogen only is there. Example is methane gas, CH4. It contains carbon. Petroleum also is a mixture of various hydrocarbons. So they also contain carbon atoms. Here we have a table 9.1. There are some compounds they have given for your reference. You can read through them, and in each of these formulas you will see carbon is present in all of these. Carbon is there. So we will read some of the common compounds which have carbon. The compounds which are having carbon are divided into two categories. Some are called as organic and other ones are called as inorganic. What is the meaning of this organic and inorganic? So let us read here. All the carbon containing compound except carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, carbonates and hydrogen carbonates are organic compound. Other than carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, carbonates and hydrogen carbonates. All these will leave. Remaining carbon compounds are all organic compounds, and all the non-carbon compounds which do not have carbon, as well as carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, carbonates and hydrogen carbonates, all of them are inorganic compounds. Carbon monoxide is a gas, CO. Carbon dioxide is another gas, CO2. Carbonate is a ion, it is a radical, CO3 radical, CO3 2 minus. Like carbonate is present in a compound like marble, C is CO3 is marble, calcium carbonate. So because here carbonate is written, so it will be inorganic. Similarly, hydrogen carbonate is what? Hydrogen carbonate is NaHCO3. For example, NaHCO3 is baking soda used in the bakeries. So it again contains hydrogen carbonate, HCO3 is there. So that is why it is also inorganic compound. So carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, carbonate, and the hydrogen carbonate, all these are inorganic substances, and the remaining chemicals which do not have carbon atom, they are also inorganic ones. Examples you can see in the book upside table 9.1. So now we'll move to the allotropy. So before discuss the allotropy, before taking this topic, we will discuss the forms of carbon. Solids are divided into two different parts, two different classes. One is called as the crystalline solid, and next one are called as the amorphous solid. Crystalline, another name is true solid. Amorphous, another name is pseudo solid. So let us see what is this crystalline true solid and amorphous or pseudo solids. Here the difference between table. Then we will see the properties of both the type of the solids. So let us see the definition first of all. Solid which have a definite geometrical shape or form, they are crystalline solids. On the other side, the solid which do not have definite geometrical form, which do not have a fixed geometry, they are called as the amorphous solid or the pseudo solids. Example you see here, rock salt, common salt, alum, sugar, all these are having crystalline shape, all these are having crystals. You can see a cube of sugar easily. So you will have a cubical shape in that. If you observe the sugar crystals, they are all having a fixed shape, that is the geometrical structure is there. But if you see gas, carbon, pitch or plastic, then no definite shape is there. That is why it is called as amorphous solid or pseudo solid. Let us see the meaning of these properties of these things. Yes, before moving to the properties, pseudo solid, what is the meaning of this term? Pseudo, in this particular word is written here, pseudo means what? Pseudo means false. Pseudo means false in English language. So if something is written pseudo solid means false solid. So now we'll move to the other part. Crystalline solids and amorphous solid characteristics we'll see. First one is particle constituting a crystalline solid are arranged in a ordered manner. That is why they are having a fixed shape. So sugar crystals, as example, you can see they are having a fixed geometrical shape. Why this geometrical shape is there? Because the particles are arranged in a ordered manner. Like you can see in this diagram, particles are properly arranged. But if they are not arranged in proper manner, any particle is simply present anywhere, then it is amorphous solid. Second point, whenever the crystalline solids are broken or cut with a knife, with a sharp knife, we will get sharp edges and plain faces. Here you can see they have sliced off a particular piece of this crystal, and then you can see a straight edge is going there, plain face has been made. But if you again try to cut the amorphous solid with the same knife, then you will not get this kind of sharp edges. You will get curved faces or curved edges. Here you can see there properly it has not been cut. It is example there. So first photograph is of rock salt. Salt is a crystal. So if you cut this will be having sharp edges. It is true solid. This is an example of true solid. That is crystalline solid. Crystalline solid also it is called as, another name is true solid. On the other side, the second photograph that you are seeing, that is of amorphous. In this photograph, what we have observed, that if you cut this, then proper edges will not be visible. They are also called as pseudo solid. Pseudo means what? Pseudo means is false only. Pseudo means false. So it is false solid. One side true solid, another side false solid. So that is all about this. We will now understand allotropy. Allotropy is the property or the phenomena of some elements existing in different form. Like carbon is there, carbon atom not a carbon atom, carbon element can exist in different manners. It can look like diamond, it can be graphite, it can be anything else also. So the same compound, or say not compound, same element present in different forms. If the same element is showing different forms, this property is called as allotropy. And all the different forms, whatever different forms are there, they are called as allotropes. What is the meaning of this term allotropy? It is taken from the Greek language allos. One word is there, allos, and another word is there, tropos. Allos and tropos. Allos means other, tropos means form. So allotropos means other form of something. Same thing is in different forms. So the different forms of this of the element, when they are showing this allotropy, they are called as allotropes or allotropic modification. So if you see diamond is what? Diamond is an allotrope. It is an allotrope of carbon. Another allotrope of carbon is graphite, because graphite is also made of carbon, diamond is also made of carbon. But diamond and graphite both are different things, but made of the same element. So they are the allotropes or allotropic modification of the carbon. More commonly we use the word allotropes. So the allotropes of a particular element, they are chemically same, but they are different from each other in the structure, in the atomicity. Other properties all will be different. Only chemically their atoms are same only. Remaining all the properties, all the behavior will be different only. So what are the elements which show allotropes now? Carbon already we have seen. Oxygen also shows allotropy. Phosphorus shows allotropy. Sulfur shows allotropy. So all these you have to learn. Carbon, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur are the examples of the elements that show allotropy. Now about the allotropes of carbon: diamond, graphite, fullerenes. They are the allotropes of carbon. What about the oxygen? Oxygen has two allotropes. One is normal oxygen gas only, O2, that is called as dioxygen. Another allotrope is ozone. Ozone is also gas. Here O3. Formula will be O3. So these are the allotropes of oxygen. Other allotropes are not required for your class, so that we can skip now. So when you talk about the allotropes, they are having physical properties, although they are chemically the same, but the chemical properties also will be different. Physical properties are changed, chemical properties also are changed. Diamond property will be something else, graphite will be something else. So that is example. With the example they have explained, graphite is a good conductor of heat, diamond is not conducting heat. Diamond is a insulator, it does not conduct heat and electricity, whereas graphite can conduct electricity. Although both diamond and graphite are made up of carbon, still both are reacting in different manners. Like graphite can burn at 700 degrees Celsius to produce carbon dioxide, but diamond, if you take diamond, it will burn at 900 degrees Celsius. So one is burning at less temperature, another at high temperature. So that is a difference here in the properties. Like ozone ultraviolet rays, oxygen does not absorb the ultraviolet rays. So that is how we can say different properties are there. One more is given: ozone is a much stronger oxidizing agent than dioxygen. So here oxygen allotropes are also showing different properties. So what is the conclusion of this? What we have learned, that allotropes of a particular element differ in the physical property and chemical properties. All the properties, physical or chemical, whatever property is there of the allotropes, they always and always will be different, irrespective of the fact that the allotropes are made up of the same element. Now we will see about the allotropy of carbon. As the chapter is about carbon only, we will focus on this only. So carbon is present in both the forms, a crystalline form and amorphous form. The crystalline form of the carbon are diamond, graphite and fullerene. These are the three crystalline forms of the carbon. What about the amorphous forms now? They are charcoals, lamp black, coke and gas carbon. All these are the amorphous forms of the carbon, and they are also containing, these amorphous form of the carbon, they contain extremely small crystals of the graphite. So that is why these amorphous forms of the carbon are also referred to as the microcrystalline forms. They are also called as the microcrystalline forms of the carbon. We will see both of these now in details. The crystalline forms of carbon, first of all, we will have a look on this. In the crystalline forms, a carbon atom is bonded to 3 or 4 other carbon atoms. In center, one carbon atom is there. I have written C, means carbon atom is there. Let me take another color here. C. Center में एक carbon atom है. This single carbon is bonded these lines I am making, that means bond, chemical bond. So they will be bonded to one carbon, second carbon on other side, third carbon on other side, and maybe sometimes fourth carbon also may be there. So single carbon atom will be bonded to minimum 3 to 4 other carbon atoms. This is how the crystalline structure will look like, and these atoms in turn are bonded to other carbon atoms, and this is how different atoms are bonded, means joined together, and a strong crystal will form. That is in the case of diamond and graphite. That is why diamond is very very strong, because of the chemical bonding that is very strongly held there. So let us see the structure of the diamond and properties about this. So diamond is the costliest gemstone, we already know, and it is the hardest natural substance. Remember the fact, diamond is the hardest natural substance. Even it is used for rock drilling. The black diamond is used for rock drilling. So it is so hard that it can be cut by another diamond. Diamond only is used to cut another diamond. Nothing else can cut it. Diamonds are formed. How they are produced? They are formed at high pressure and temperature below the earth crust that is existing over 100 kilometers below the earth's surface. How much below? 100 kilometers below the earth's surface. And they are brought to the surface with the carrier rock, that is kimberlite rock, by the volcanic action. When the volcanoes are erupting, when the lava is coming upwards, these diamonds which are below the earth's surface 100 kilometers or around that only, they are all brought up by this volcanic action, and they form only one part in 15 million parts of the rock. In a single rock, if there are 15 million parts of that rock, out of that 15 million parts only one will be diamond. So that is why they are so rare, and because of their rarity only, these are very very precious, they are very very costly. Naturally, where they are produced, they are not produced, where they are found mainly in Australia, Botswana. This is an island. And another one is South Africa. South Africa is very famous for its diamonds. So these are all the details about the diamond. Let us come to the properties of this and the structure of this. Artificially also these days diamond is produced in some of the countries. It is being done artificial production of the diamond. That is artificial diamond, but still it is behaving, it is looking like the original diamond only. What we are doing, we are taking graphite, another form of the carbon, and we are heating graphite at a very high temperature. How much? Around 5000 degrees Celsius. And at such a high temperature and pressure also, you see here pressure is say around 100,000 times or 1 lakh atmospheres. So extremely high pressure and temperature is being given to that graphite. In this case of the high temperature and pressure only, the diamond will convert, diamond will be produced there. It will be from the graphite, artificial diamond is obtained, and that is almost similar to the original one. Normally the diamond is generally colorless, but there are certain colored varieties. They can be yellow, brown, red, green, blue, gray, and even black diamond is there. That is natural one. Why this color is coming? Question can be asked in exam, put a tick, or you can underline this sentence. The color in the diamond arises due to the metallic impurity. It depends on that particular metal impurity which is present in the diamond, and according to that metal only the color is coming. So color is changing because the metal changes in that particular diamond. So if any impurity is there, metallic impurity, then only color is coming. Otherwise the diamond is colorless. If diamond is colorless, it means it is pure diamond. It does not have any impurities. So that one will be most costly also. The less costly ones are the grey colored and the black color, because they are not used in the jewelries, in the gemstone. Grey diamond and black diamond is not used. It is used for cutting glass and drilling rocks. So here you can see glass cutter tip, you can see here it is made up of diamond. So that is how diamond is used, because it is the hardest substance known. That is why it is used. So properties, already we have seen this point. Hardest solid known, density is given 3.51 gram per centimeter cube, and a properly cut diamond bends back a percentage of the light falling on it, and that is why it is sparkling. This you will learn about this in physics in the chapter of light reflection topic. You will see this property of the diamond is called what? It is called as the refractive index, and diamond is having a high refractive index. Refractive index is what? The ability of any of the substance to bend the great percentage of the light, a great amount of the light to a great extent. So if it is happening, then the substance is having high refractive index. So diamond is one of those. Melting point of the diamond is around 3930 degrees Celsius. It is a high melting point. Diamond does not conduct electricity. It is considered a bad conductor of electricity. No electric current will pass through it unless it is not wet. It should be dry. Next, now point number 6. When ignited, it burns in air at 900 degrees Celsius. In air, 900 degrees Celsius is the temperature at which diamond will burn and produce carbon dioxide. If more oxygen is provided, then it will burn more fastly, that is at 700 degrees Celsius temperature. Also it can burn, but then oxygen should be more in quantity. So in oxygen it will burn at 700 degrees Celsius, same reaction, it will also produce carbon dioxide. Now we'll see the structure of the diamond. In the diamond, each carbon atom is bonded to 4 other carbon atoms. You will see the figure also. The central carbon atom is bonded to 4 other carbon placed at the vertices of a tetrahedron. Like a tetrahedron, a prism-like structure is there. So in that case, it is called as tetrahedron. So these atoms are tetrahedrally bonded to the 4 carbon atoms. You will see the diagram now here. In the center, 1 carbon atom is there. It is bonded to on different sides. On 4 different sides, 4 carbon atoms are there. So this is how a tetrahedron is made there. If you connect the dots, you will be able to look a tetrahedron. This is the structure of the diamond. These black dots, what you are seeing here, these are all carbon atoms only. And different atoms are joined to each other, bonded to each other, making a structure of the diamond. And because of this kind of the bonding, a formation of giant molecule is done, and all the carbon atoms are packed very closely. Because of this high closed packing only, the diamond account for high density, and that is why it becomes very hard, and it makes it the hardest natural substance known. The strong bonding only will allow the diamond to have a very high melting point. Now we will move to the graphite now. Graphite is another form, the crystalline form of the carbon. It is a black opaque solid, and it is found in large deposit in countries like China, South Korea and India. It can also be prepared artificially by heating coke with silica. Silica is in the soil. So if you heat coke with silica in the electric furnace, if you at a particular temperature, then it will produce silicon carbide, and this silicon carbide again on heating will break this silicon carbide into 2 things. One will be silicon and another one will be that carbon, that is graphite only. So we can get graphite artificially also by heating coke and silica. Remember these 2 things, coke and silica are heated to produce what? To produce graphite. Let us see the properties now. Graphite also has high density, 2.2 gram per centimeter cube. Unlike diamond, it is very soft. This is the difference between both. Diamond is the hardest substance known, but graphite is very soft. It is not the hard substance. It melts at 3700 temperature. This is 3700 degrees Celsius. So this is the melting point, 3700 degrees Celsius. Graphite is a good conductor of heat and electricity, and it burns in air at 700 degrees Celsius to give carbon dioxide. Diamond burns in air but at 900. Graphite burns in air at 700. Diamond burns in oxygen at 700. So these are the differences in the case of the heating the diamond and graphite. Temperature differences are there. Let us have a look at the structure of the graphite. In the case of the graphite, there are layers of hexagonal ring. Hexagon is a polygon only, which is a figure made up of 6 lines. So like this hexagon is there and different rings are there. All these rings are having carbon atom, 1 carbon, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So like this hexagon is made, and this is a hexagonal ring. Like this many rings are attached to each other, and ultimately what will happen? Each carbon atom will be shared by 3 different rings. And the rings will occur in different planes arranged parallelly to each other. So I will roughly make this a diagram now for your understanding. So like this only hexagonal ring I will make, and then another ring I will make, then another ring here. So here in the center you see what is happening. Single carbon atom is a member of this first ring, same carbon on the second ring also, and same carbon on the third ring also. Same thing is happening with all the carbons. Every carbon is shared by 3 different rings. So that is written here. Each carbon is shared by the 3 rings, and all these rings are in the different planes. Different planes means different layers are there of these carbon rings. All these layers are parallel to each other, and in between this each layer is held by adjacent layer by weak force. Between all these layers, weak forces are there, so that they are attracted to each other, and these layers can slide easily over one another. Because these layers can slide, that is why only graphite can conduct heat and electricity. And because these can slide, the layers of graphite can slide, or the layers of carbon can slide in the graphite, that is why only graphite is soft. It is not very hard. It can conduct heat and electricity also. Based on this only these properties are coming here. So now we will see the diagram also. Here you can see different hexagonal rings are there. All these are making a single layer. This is the layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. All these are having what? Weak force is there in between layer 1 and 2 also, in between layer 2 and 4 layer 2 and 3 also weak force. So because of this weak force that is present here, all these layers are held together and they are sliding one above the other. You'll learn more details in the upper classes now. Now we'll move to the uses. Graphite electrodes are used very much in the electrolysis process. Second, it is a solid lubricant for the machine, in the machine parts, in the engines, especially in the motor vehicle. Graphite lubricant is added. That is also called as the engine oil. It contains graphite. Next, now it leaves a mark on the paper. Graphite, whenever it is used on a paper, it will leave a mark. That is why the lead of the pencil is graphite mixed with clay. Graphite has to be mixed with clay, because the greater the proportion of graphite, the softer the pencil. Graphite is soft. If only graphite is there, 100% graphite is there in the pencil, then your pencil lead will easily break. You cannot write properly, and it is very soft, so it will break. That is why, to make it little bit stronger, so that on writing the pencil lead is not breaking, that is why it is mixed with clay. So that is all. Point number 4 now, it is used for making crucibles for casting metal. Crucibles are small containers only in which metals can be casted. Casting metal means what? Casting means giving a proper shape to the metal. When the metal, different objects are being made, they are given, the shape of that metal is being given. So that liquid metal is put in this crucible, and then on cooling, the metal will take that shape, and then that object is ready to be sold in the market. Next, now point 5, a mixture of graphite and linseed oil is used for painting things made of iron. You are mixing linseed oil with graphite, and it will be used for painting iron objects. Used in the nuclear reactor also, graphite is there. In the nuclear reactions it is used. Now we will move to the next part, that is fullerenes and the carbon nanotubes. Fullerene and carbon nanotubes are the last crystalline forms of the carbons. Nanotubes are having a great role in nanotechnology. Details are not discussed here, that you will be discussing in the upper classes, especially class 9th and upwards. You will be discussing that. So that is all about the crystalline forms. We will now shift to the amorphous forms of the carbon. If you talk about the amorphous forms of the carbon, then what is happening in the amorphous form? The substance is having the loosely held particles, and because they are loosely held, they can easily separate and make them available for a large surface area. So here again, because the substance is breaking into two, and two new surfaces are created. So in this case, what is happening? More and more surface area is being provided. So whenever we talk about the amorphous substance, they are easily breaking and converting into the powdered form. And when they convert into the powdered form, then more surface area is made available. So that is the benefit here, that more surface area can be provided. The charcoal we will discuss, that is one of the amorphous forms of the carbon. Let us see the preparation method of this. Charcoals are prepared by the process called as the destructive distillation, also referred to as pyrolysis. Pyrolysis is the name for the destructive distillation only. So in this destructive distillation, what will happen? Let us see the concept first of all, then we will see the exact experiment. In this destructive distillation, our substance is heated in the absence of air. What is that? In destructive distillation, a substance is heated in absence of air, without oxygen gas, with a view to breaking the big molecules into the smaller one. That is, a decomposition will take place. Big molecule will break into small molecule, but the condition is in the absence of air only it will happen. So this process is destructive distillation, and during the process only certain substances distill out and they may be collected. Let us see how wood charcoal is prepared in this method only. Concept we have seen of the preparation of charcoal. This charcoal is of different type. One of the type of the charcoal is wood charcoal. It is prepared by the destructive distillation of the wood. We will take a mixture of we'll take a powdered form of the wood only, and then we will keep it on heating, and then let us see the experiment what will form there. In the process of this destructive distillation of wood, a mixture of the gases and the vapors is produced, and only charcoal will be formed there. All this mixture of the gases which are being produced, like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane CH4, and hydrogen H2, all these mixture of the gases is combustible, they can burn, and therefore these gases, this mixture of gas which is produced on the destructive distillation of wood is called as wood gas. Again I repeat, wood gas is produced how? Wood gas is produced by the destructive distillation of wood. What are the gases which are a part of the wood gas? They are carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane, CH4, and hydrogen. All the four names you have to learn. If it is asked, question can be asked, name the gases present in wood gas. Answer you will write CO2, CO, CH4, H2. So now let us study understand the experiment. So we have taken a mixture of the wood powder, and then we have kept it on heating. On heating, what will happen? Observe the diagram here, then you will understand better. So we have taken this wood shaving, we are heating it. On heating, what will happen? There in the wood gas, they will start moving forward, and they also the wood charcoal that will also start coming here. When it comes here, what will happen? The wood charcoal that will settle down here in the form of this star because of the presence of this pyroligneous acid, but the gas will start moving outside and it is being kindled and being identified here. So this is all the concept here. I hope it is clear. So the liquid that is a pyroligneous acid, that is also separated out here along with the tar that is being produced there. So destructive distillation is completed here. We can also make it at home. You can read this activity. It is to be done for reading only, nothing else. Now we will move to the activated charcoal. It is prepared by heating wood charcoal only at 900 degrees Celsius in a limited supply of air. Normal charcoal, when you are making, air is not given there, but in this case limited supply of air is provided, and then only the wood charcoal, when you heat it up to 900 degrees Celsius temperature, this wood charcoal only converts into the activated charcoal. So whenever you take activated charcoal, what is the benefit? It is more active than the simple wood charcoal. It is having more surface area. The surface area of charcoal is increasing when you take the wood charcoal and do the destructive distillation again. Then the surface area of the particles increases, and then it is more better quality of the charcoal. Next is the bone or animal charcoal. In this case again, animal bones are boiled to remove the fat, and then again destructive distillation will be taken place. They will be heated, and then we can get it, that is the wood charcoal is prepared. This wood charcoal is washed with hydrochloric acid. In case any impurities are there, they can be cleaned off from that. So that is how bone or animal charcoal is prepared. Same way sugar charcoal also. Now here it is the sugar charcoal is the purest form of the carbon in the amorphous structure, and it is prepared by what? By the destructive distillation of the cane sugar. We'll take a sugar cane and subject it to destructive distillation. In this experiment only, what will happen? Pure carbon you will get, that is sugar charcoal. Next now, lamp black. Lamp black is another amorphous structure. When the substance like oil and wax are burning, what is being produced? A black color smoke is going. That is called as soot. This soot can be collected by holding on a dish. So this is the activity you see here. You can prepare lamp black at home by burning mustard oil with the help of a wick and collecting the soot on a dish. This soot only is used to prepare kajal, and printer's ink also is made from this lamp black. Two more are remaining, that is coke. How it is obtained? Another amorphous structure. It is obtained whenever coal is heated strongly in the absence of air. Without air, if you are heating coal, then this coal will convert into the coke, and coke is more porous and it is more active than, or more better quantity, more better quantitatively as well as qualitatively. Coke is better than coal. So that is all about coke. Gas carbon now. Gas carbon deposits on the walls of the retort when any hydrocarbon is heated in the absence of air. Any hydrocarbon it can be any of the organic hydrocarbon, like it can be any petroleum product, for example. It can be heated, it can be CH4 methane gas. So whenever any hydrocarbon is heated in the absence of air, we will get gas carbon deposited, and this gas carbon is again electricity conductor as well as it is used as an electrode. So that is all about the various kind of the amorphous and the crystalline forms of the carbon that we have seen. Also we have studied about the allotropes or allotropy, and that is the first part of the video of this chapter number 9 that we have completed. Next video we will begin from the uses or the useful properties of the carbon onwards. That is all for this video. I'll take a halt now. Thank you for now.